couple days ago, Medium suggested this article to me about it was from an author named Penguin Scratcher, and he or they were talking about how to break into cybersecurity or their plan for learning cybersecurity. And now that's something I'm kind of passionate about. I try to help people just in general. So links for Penguin Scratcher's article will be in the description, and so will his social or their social media links, because that's listed right there on their Medium article. So let's check this bad boy out.
My plan for learning cybersecurity. I'm the kind of person who needs a plan. I make them for almost everything I do in my life. Yeah, it makes me boring, but, it's the way I am.
Yeah, that's good. I have a lot of checklists. It's part of my ADHD, so having a plan is good. Ensuring that you have contingencies for the plan is also very helpful. If you have one plan, you should at least have two.
Anyway, as I said in my first post, I began studying cybersecurity because it's fun and interesting. Then I learned about bug bounties, and I realized I might be able to use what I learned to make money.
The bug bounties are awesome. They're really good to get started out in. Having web application skills, web app hacking skills, or being able to do bug bounties gives you two things. It gives you practical experience, and it builds a portfolio for you. If you're trying to break into cyber, those are core concepts. My specialty was post-exploitation red teaming. That is not something that every company will need right off the bat. Web skills and pen testing skills are always in need. You can find a job anywhere doing those things. So if you have to prioritize something, going the bug bounty route is good for that.
Money. Money is an incentive to me, and I got more interest. So, it only makes sense that if I plan to do something for money, I should learn to do it well and thoroughly.
That's good. There's an old saying, it's like have two hobbies, one that you like to do for relaxation and one that you can do to make money. And if bug bounties are your hobby, then you kind of become a hacker in the process.
Thoroughly. That was why I signed up with Tryhackme.com. I needed to start from the very beginning of everything. But the other thing I needed was a plan. Now, I know it's cool to walk around life like you don't have a plan. There is a certain sense of flair and allure to the idea of the person who is living their life by the seat of their pants and learning from life as it comes to them.
Yeah, so I've written about something similar in a couple of my other Cybersenica letters talking about journey and destination. What Penguin's talking about here is you need to know where you're going, right? I cannot say that I'm moving forward if I don't know that the destination I'm walking towards is my goal. Because if my destination is over here to the right and I'm actually moving towards the left, I'm walking away from my goal. I'm not moving forward. So having a plan is good, if only to tell you this is the general direction I need to go.
That's great in movies and stories. But here in the real world, where we live, it's just not going to cut it when it comes to serious learning. Big topics need systematic learning. And, believe me, learning cybersecurity is serious learning. The field is immense, and honestly, I think it grows every day.
There are a couple different types of learning styles. I found out that earlier in my life, that I was what they call a global learner, which means I need to see the big picture of everything before I can start learning individual specific components. So for me, that's why I always struggled with web application stuff, was because I would always try to hone in on one specific thing, and then I wouldn't understand some of the technology behind other aspects of web, and it would just frustrate me. So for me to actually, quote, learn web pen testing, I would need to learn everything about the technology first. That's just one learning style. So if you're trying to break into cyber or get better, make sure you understand how you learn and then build a plan around that too.
My plan. So, here's my plan, so far, for how I'm going to continue my studies. I'm an early riser, so the first 2 to 3 hours of the morning will be filled with working on Tryhackme.com exercises and room. In the afternoon, I'm using freecodecamp.org to refresh my memory of Python.
Now, this is a great plan if you don't have a job. I'm not saying that Penguin doesn't have a job, but if they're trying to be a bug bounty person, then that probably is their hobby/job. You can do these things, you can have a similar plan, just not at the expense of the job that you have. You leverage the position you have. Let's say you're in IT and you want to get into security. Leverage that position to give you that entry point. Use it to support your transition, not to supplant your current position.
A little bit helps. So, back to the plan. You might be wondering if I'm going to do CTFs. Yes, I am. But, first, I feel like I need to up my technical game a little before I dive in. I've completed a couple of their very easy rooms, but anything past those, and I get hopelessly stuck.
This is a common mindset I see in everyone, especially those trying to break in. I need to be an expert before I can step forward into things. Now, in my experience, cybersecurity is a trade skill, which means that a person learns best by getting their hands dirty. So, do I suggest that Penguin does a CTF even if they're not qualified for it? Yes. Get in there and fail. Give yourself an opportunity to fail, and a person gets amazing amounts of opportunity for learning and growth through failure. So try it, see what happens. Don't wait until you're perfect to do a CTF. You're missing out on learning.
Stuck. It's not cheating if it helps you. Whether you are using Tryhackme, Hack the Box, or Hacker 101, there are walkthroughs for almost all the problems and CTF rooms they have. Take advantage of these. Don't be like a certain somebody I know, whom I secretly refer to as me, and take the attitude of I'm gonna solve this myself. You're just inviting frustration and burnout.
I agree and disagree on that. There is a certain point where a person needs to force themselves to struggle. There is growth in the struggle. Without struggle and pressure, there is no growth. So use the walkthroughs, but not at first. Okay, like maybe give yourself a couple days of failure. Use that, understand what you're failing on, then use the walkthroughs and try again. I know it's uncomfortable, but it will accelerate your learning very quickly.
Out. Trust me, I've got both of those t-shirts. Give each problem your best effort, and if that doesn't help, head on over to your best friend, Mr. Google, and start searching for walkthroughs.
Yeah, a common thing I say about Offensive Security Certified Professional, OSCP, at least the older version, which I take and have, was that the main thing OSCP taught me was how to research. So if you got your researching skills down pat, you will do very well in either red or blue.
There's more than one out there, I promise. Not really, no guarantees given. But, give it a shot anyway. Finally, I'm going to be reading 1 cybersecurity books a month. I have a bunch of them I purchased from humblebundle.com a couple of years ago. Humble is also a great resource, and it helps charities, so buying from them is a win-win.
So, reading is always good. Okay, one thing I didn't learn until way later in my career was that I focused strictly almost on technical books and articles when I was an engineer. And then once I moved into management, then I started learning soft skills and leadership and stuff like that. I read books about those. I wish that I had done the leadership and soft skill books when I was an engineer. I missed out on a lot of figuring myself out, figuring how I think, getting rid of bad habits, replacing them with good habits. So technical books are great. Typically, by the time a technical book has been written, aside from the web application hacker's handbook, it's a little bit outdated, but those soft skills aren't outdated. So if you have limited time, I do recommend picking up leadership, strategy, soft skill books and doing those because those are easier to consume. And then focusing on specific hands-on keyboard technical skills like Tryhackme or Hack the Box.
In summation, pretty elegant, huh? In summation, and to take my rambling down a notch or two, here is the plan. Work on Tryhackme every day for a couple of hours. Refresh Python skills using Free Code Camp. Start diving into CTFs, but slowly. Read a book about cybersecurity, hacking, a month.
That's a good plan. That's a plan for Penguin. And when you're building a list like this, a plan, I definitely rank them. So of the 4 things, I would ask Penguin which one was his most important. If they were only able to do one thing on that list, which one would they want to get done? Would it be working on Tryhackme? Would it be refreshing Python skills, CTFs? Would it be reading a book? Figure out what that one thing is and make sure that there's always time for it. The Python stuff is great, in my opinion. Don't limit yourself to Python. There's a lot of other cool things out there like Go, and I'm seeing a lot of really neat things with Go. So just pick something and get really good at it. That's what people are going to be interested in, is not so much the jack of all trades route, but just what are you really good at as a hacker? That's what we need. Sometimes you'll get positions and sometimes you won't. That's just kind of how it works.
A month. That's all for now. I think that's a pretty doable schedule. A few hours a day gives me plenty of time to screw off for the rest of the day and get the work down around the house.
Yeah, it's okay to screw off for the rest of the day. It depends on your timeline for your goals. If relaxing is a way that a person is recovering from burnout, that's fine. It's okay to stress yourself. If you have the ability to stress yourself, do it and make sure you get good sleep, and you'll be better when you wake up the next day.
Anyway, give me a shout with any ideas you have for studying or tell me what you're doing. Thanks for reading. Now go hack something. My plan for learning cybersecurity.
Yeah, awesome. So, my plans for that, give me a shout out with any ideas you have for studying or tell me what you're doing. All right, Penguin, here's what I do. I use WhisperSync from Amazon. So I have a Kindle and I have Audible. And I have both of those books matched up. Because of my ADHD, sometimes really good books are really boring at first. So I use the Audible version of that to kind of help get me through the boring parts. And then I can go back to the Kindle and continue the book with parts that are interesting to me, and I can take notes on those and highlight them. It is a little bit more expensive, but would I rather have read the book, or would I rather have not read the book or failed halfway through? One of the things I presented at DEF CON this year, DEF CON 30, was inspired by this massive book, and the first 25% of the book was just biographies about these four admirals. There's no way in hell I ever would have gotten through that if I had to read it. So I used the audiobooks to get me through that part, learned some stuff, but then I got to the part where I needed to be to really inspire me. So figure out what your shortcomings are, overcome them. Like for me, my voice is pretty flat. So having Medium read these articles to me, I don't have to read them. So I can still consume articles, learn new stuff, and try to help people, but you don't have to listen to my boring voice talk the entire time. It's kind of broken up a little bit. Um, yeah, so that's what I do. I also have like a ton of checklists. Eisenhower's important and urgent principles are really good for prioritizing what you want to do or what I need to do. And then my last piece of advice is just that those four things that Penguin presented, I would encourage them to go pick the one thing that if they could only do that, that's what they would do and prioritize that. So awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Penguin, for putting yourself out there and writing an article like this. I hope that it's helped a lot of people, and good luck.